choices in games, the importance thereof, and how they can actually affect the game. Now, there's a very huge difference between a scripted game where there's practically no choice, you're only meant to perform certain tasks to move on to the next stage. And then there are games such as Bioware games like Dragon Age and Mass Effect, where your decisions affect the game's outcome, how the characters are driven, how they feel towards you. It's becoming a little bit more common in most games these days, but it is still a major difference between games such as like Call of Duty. Um, Player choice is important in every game, though, more so than most people realize. Let's say it's a Call of Duty game. Well, you have to. Anyone who's played Call of Duty knows that if you're playing the storyline, essentially you have to just kill everything to move on to the next stage, or kill everything and get to a certain area, or get to a certain area while killing everything. It's not really complicated to understand. But they try to put you in different scenarios that put you in a different situation. Sometimes there's cover, sometimes there isn't. Sometimes you have to move halfway across the map before you get to a position where you can really fight back. It's a matter of choice. You don't have to do any of that. You could just stand around like an idiot and shoot. And if you're lucky, continue forward. Now, the games, depending on the difficulty you're playing at, will actually make this almost impossible, if not straight up, what are you doing, you goddamn idiot? But it's still a choice, and because the way you choose to play, the weapon sets you go in, and what weapons you prefer to use affects how you go about killing everything. Now, that's pretty basic, but it does affect the game, affects how you interpret it, how you enjoy it, and if the game's difficult because it's either a limited choice or it's not giving you an opportunity to enjoy it because you're just not that type of player, you don't enjoy the game, it's not giving you what you need. So your choice and how the game gives you choices affects how you play the game, whether or not you enjoy it, and most importantly, the immersion. I'll get to that in a different video. But now, a game such as Dragon Age or Mass Effect, decision is everything. Everything you do, it either will please this person who's in your party, and whether or not you have perfect loyalty with them will affect the way they interact with you and the game's ending. And doing that pleases that person might displease this person, and that also affects the game, the ending. Um, there's always a similar play style because, like, in Mass Effect, it is also another shooter game such as Call of Duty. Therefore, kill everything. But then again, who are you killing? Why are you killing? There are multiple points throughout the game where you can make a decision, and based off your character's stats and such, you might not even have to fight. They'll just go, oh shit, it's you, and back the hell off. So, the way you choose to play the game, the way you role play that character, determines the outcome of the game, how it's played, your specific immersion into it, and it just emphasizes the amount of choice. Now, one of the main reasons why I bring this up, particularly going back to Mass Effect, is an issue that anyone who's ever played the game or has heard about the game knows about and is probably very, very tired of hearing. Mass Effect 3 ending. Well, once again, choice was involved, and it was our choice. We kind of did it to ourselves, guys. From what I understand, they actually had a game set up. Perfect ending, following suit with everything else they had, and someone leaked it. Before they were finished, before the game was going to be released, maybe I think it was 2 or 3 months, somewhere between there, and was released on the internet. Now, the end of the series is spoiled. Studio, or perhaps the team itself, just didn't want that to happen, so they rushed and forced themselves to make an ending to fit what they could do in that short period of time, which unfortunately turned out to be garbage. No one really likes the ending. I mean, some people are okay with it. Some people say it's a pretty decent ending, but well, most of us, no, it's terrible. It does not. All that build up in the first two games, and most of the decisions you make in the third game on who's there fighting with you, why did you get 100% completion in the previous games, or do you have 100% loyalty with all your characters in both games? Do you have the Geth and the Qunari? I'm sorry, the Queth and. If you have everyone there fighting with you, this, that, the other thing, all your decisions you've made up to this point, and this game series emphasizing your choices affect gameplay, and brings it down to a final choice where you only have one of three endings, depending on how you look at it, maybe 9 endings. Now that seems like a lot considering most games only have one, but for a game series that has had so much variety, that emphasized so much on it, that was such a huge letdown. It broke the immersion. It created a lot of hate for the game. If they make another Mass Effect, which I do believe they're planning to do, I don't know how it's going to be. I'm not sure how much of a following it's going to have. I'm pretty sure it's going to be strong because, you know what, anyone who's a fan will want to play another Mass Effect game and hope that it's better than Mass Effect 3. But now there's that level of doubt and level of, is this going to be just like that? Or am I going to put a lot of time and effort in my choices, in my thing, in my character, how I play this game, only to have a disappointing end? And that will be in your subconscious the entire time you're playing the game. Every time in the back of your mind when you make a decision, is this going to affect my gameplay? Is this going to lead to something, or is this going to be just another meaningless decision I make that I'll feel good about for a short period of time, get to the ending and find out there was no point to it, that this was just arbitrary? And that will make it harder to immerse yourself into the game and harder for you to enjoy the story, enjoy the way the game is built. It just leads to so many bad things, and it's really sad for a game series such as Mass Effect that started off with a very strong game, and not a lot of people were doing games like that at the time. I mean, BioWare is now known for it, but at the time, a space opera genre type game similar to Star Trek, and characters and the way you speak to them, how you treat them, and how you play your character affects them. That was something new. And how they feel about you towards the end of the game affects the end result of the game. That was something new. Not completely new, not 100% new, but new enough that for it to be on a AAA game, being marketed to the masses for a $60 value, that was huge. And it pulled it off despite the many glitches of the game and many little errors. And then they just came back with Mass Effect 2 and they just were over the top. They did such a great job. So when you have a series like that, to end the way that it did because of a decision someone made saying that, hey, I'm going to leak this out on the internet, and then the rest of us latching onto it and trying to find out the ending of the game before we even play the game, it affects everything. And now the game series is in doubt because the next game, no matter how good they make it, even if they make a good ending and everything else, it might redeem it in some eyes. It's going to be a less experience, because a lower level of experience because of that doubt. Choice matters. It matters in the game, whether how it's being made, whether or not you're playing it, how you're playing it, and more importantly, when you're making it. If you're making a game that you don't really want to, or you're not enjoying it, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, because for Christ's sakes, you're making a game. Of course, you could aim for something much deeper than just a game, but you are making a game. If you're not loving what you're doing while doing it, it reflects in your work and reflects how people interpret it. I'm sure the people on the team were not happy having to redo the ending so quickly in a 2.5 month period when everything's almost done. Go back and redo all that. I'm sure they weren't happy at all, and with the choice that they had to make, the choppy ending that they had, I'm sure they weren't happy because nothing about that felt good. Not just the how the experience was, it's just everything leading up to that choice. The theme went darker, and this was already a dark story. They had everything about it, the atmosphere, the dialogue choices, the explanations. It just felt like, yeah, we're doing this. And it sucks. So, and I've been doing this for 11 minutes. I do that a lot. I can say choice is important again and again and again, but I can't emphasize enough the level of importance because choice, when either making the game, playing the game, or talking about it, or yeah, even talking about the game, because let's say you're a huge fan of the game, me saying negative things about it, you're not going to like, and it affects how you're going to see me in the future. Choice is huge in everything that we do. So, for anyone to consider choice to be negative or limiting, I don't know why anyone would. I'm sorry. Yee. Well, it's one of my first videos. No one's going to really watch this one. But I do talk to people sometimes when they say it's just a game, or they say, well, you're doing something for fun. You know, having your choice in a story doesn't really matter. And I find that to be so infuriating. Why? Why wouldn't it matter? Because, yeah, you play any movie licensed game, you know what's going to happen because it's a movie licensed game. You saw the movie. It got released with the movie. It's usually cheap, usually buggy as hell. And the story is scripted as all hell. Sometimes they throw weird things in there, sometimes they don't, but you know what's happening. And if it, and you know what? People buy it. I don't know why. People buy these games. And it sucks because it's scripted. You don't have a choice. It's usually buggy. There's always issues. But let's say they make a good movie licensed game. You know how? They can still follow a scripted storyline that follows the movie, but give you options to do things that didn't happen, or give you the options to explore something a little bit more before you move on to the next section. There's been a real growth in the game industry when it comes to cinematic experiences. Unfortunately, some of the best examples of this are also exactly not great examples. Well, I've been going on for almost 15 minutes now, and I can't go any longer than that. So I'm going to just leave this here. This was Choices in Games, and a rant about Mass Effect 3. Alright, guys. Bye.